Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Braley. The campaign is Horror on the Orient Express. It's available from Chaosium. I'm the Keeper of the Secrets, and this is episode 35. Instead of a recap, the characters themselves, while traveling to Trieste, will do a collective review of the events so far. But before we begin, we have a new patron. Scott Plummer has pledged $3 a month to our club. Thank you so much, Scott. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Having finished L'Immagine del Diavolo, you have about 1 hour before you arrive in Trieste. Seems the first time in a while that you felt a little bit relaxed. But how long will that last?
Mm-hmm. So this disturbing document we read here, and it concerns me that people have been dealing with this since the Middle Ages that we can tell. I mean, they had something happen in the Fourth Crusade, and then that unfortunate group of people researching it in the late 1800s.
Yeah, it keeps raising its ugly head, scattered throughout history.
Yeah. I mean, we got 3 pieces, and I can barely walk by collecting them. I got the leg, torso, and arm, and we still need to find 3 more, plus these 4 damn scrolls that we believe we need. 4 other
and
scrolls.
I thought the more we find, the worse it will get.
I think you're right. It's Dorian. It's I hate to admit it, but I think Gunther and you both seem to be affected by it. Like when you're trying to sleep, I remember you seem to have a sort of maybe subconscious affection for the pieces. It seemed like. I fear if we collect more, what will it do to us mentally, all of us?
Exactly, and I just do not think that we should each have more than one piece, because the effect that it has on, the small effect it has on me and the small effect it has on Gunther.
I don't think that won't be much of a choice. It's at one point, because from what it looks like with our notes so far, isn't it sizing up to be 6 pieces?
Yes, yeah.
So we still have a head, a right arm, and a right leg to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expect to find one in our next stop. Supposed to contact someone at the museum there.
Yeah.
And possibly in Belgrade, their Smythe thought there was another piece there, and he gave us the name of a curator to talk to.
This is Herr Winkelmann, yes?
That's the one in Trieste, and Belgrade is Dr. Milovan Todorovic. My Russian is are not the best. Finally, they thought there was one that made it to Sofia and Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what concerns me is I just can't think of any place where we could find these scrolls. I don't remember finding any clue that could point us in that direction.
Yeah, we'll have to. That's something we're gonna have to research. The name John Winkelmann was mentioned by Smythe.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's the one
in Trieste.
Trieste, yeah.
Yes.
Then that damn wizard. Hopefully, we never see him again. But I don't think we'll count ourselves lucky. He seems to have popped up a few times on us and on the people that came before us.
Yeah, if he actually looks at what we gave him and identifies it.
And you know he will.
Yes, I for one will be seeking an alternate route back to London that does not involve traveling through Lausanne after that, assuming that we make it back. Given the histories we have read, many of those who have attempted to deal with these materials have suffered considerable loss. However, if we manage to destroy the thing, having more information with a greater sense of history, then we will be doing a great favor for the future as well.
Oh, let's see here. We found the arm in France. And it was held by a hedonistic man. Was the last
John
person that was.
Aver.
Yeah,
He had the complete simulacra. We understand from this text that after the Fourth Crusade, that monk stole the complete Sedefkar and fled. That somehow wound up with the German Viscount in France around the time of the French Revolution. So it's unknown what occurred between those 2 points, but we know that it was split up again at the Revolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get from a monk to a German Viscount. I mean,
The monk in question, of course, was a bit of a wizard, so there could have been involvement of one or more secret societies. Perhaps he could even cure himself of his leprosy with the magics involved.
Indeed. As much we do not know, there's much to learn. But
And I mean, this man that we encountered in Lausanne, if I can call him that, he seemed to be quite knowledgeable about the Sedefkar himself. I wonder. I mean, he was encountered by the people in 1890 briefly, but not enough to, I mean, to mean anything. I mean, I get the impression he's been alive for a long time. I wonder where he fits into this greater puzzle.
Yes, I have the suspicion as well that he might be long-lived, to say the least.
I wish we could have a quick exchange with Professor Smythe on this. I wonder how he's recovering.
yes, I wonder that too. I do wonder how he is doing.
It hasn't been that long.
No, it has not. But a lot has happened in such a period of time. A lot has happened to us. And we seem to cause issues for a lot of people we run into.
Yeah, but it's for the greater good, of course. It's
for humanity's sake.
Yeah,
it is. But from a morality perspective, you've got to feel a little bad.
Crimes for humanity.
And we can just use the doctor's money. We can just get him to send checks to everyone, because that's how we can solve all our issues.
Well, so the arm we got in Paris. Oh, yes, Doctor.
I was going to say, the arm we got in Paris, the torso we got in Milan.
Yeah, they were using it as a prop dummy on the stage and all, but there was that group that was trying to get it.
Yes, there was. But we evaded them.
Even
Even
It was
though
it was the Brotherhood of the Skin, and they were killed by something. There's something that's still following us.
Yeah, a third party.
or a third something.
That's killing people. People think that it's the devil.
likened it to a gargoyle almost.
I think, yeah, like a gargoyle. Yeah, I saw it in the courtyard in Venice.
Yeah, something is watching. It's probably watching us right now.
I wonder if that has any tie-ins with that sorceress character that we gave the fake scroll to.
That was a smart play indeed. You were smart to do that.
So how this Brotherhood of the Skin? They've been around for a long time, haven't they? As well.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were involved in Constantinople in the Fourth Crusade, it seems.
Mentioned back then.
And yet they were not in league with Sedefkar. They were trying to murder Sedefkar to get a hold of Simulacrum.
So it's like they're both
The unburdened flesh is what they were called.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But so the Brotherhood of the Skin, I wonder. I would suppose they found out about the Simulacrum either through research like ourselves or something else informed them. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there could be something to your statement that they're maybe not working in league with the Sedefkar. I mean, there's many examples throughout history of religious icons being claimed by rival religions. It could very easily be that they think that it's a relic that belongs to them, whereas the other group thinks it's a relic belongs to them. But so the torso was found in
that was found in Milan.
Milan, right? Yeah, the opera. And the leg, obviously, just yeah. She used to be so beautiful. She was going to be mine, but
had a beautiful voice till
She did have a beautiful
wicked.
voice.
Yeah.
We also got to find out you are a fine actor, Gunther, as well.
Yeah, the best
That
there would have been, but
astounding performance, Gunther.
thanks.
Yeah.
And then we got the leg. Who stole the leg from the crypt? I mean,
So they left a note.
Yeah.
Somebody, one of the people who made the prosthetics or who worked on the clock tower, the miniature, the statues for that, said he needed to fix it for a friend.
Why?
And he stole it from.
I just don't get why it would be so important
reliquary
to fix a clock tower that you would break into a saint's grave, and then who? I mean, I get why the guy during the Napoleonic era buried it there because he was trying to stop a riot. But
wasn't it taken from the crypt because they both lost grandchildren or something in the war, and they felt
it just seems
kinship?
It just seems such an extreme reaction, though, to break.
I wonder if perhaps the Gramanci family that made the false limbs had been inspired by the leg for some time. They recognized it in some obscure way as an artifact. And so they thought perhaps to give it to their friend would not, in fact, give them a terminal illness in their leg, but bring them some solace. The effects of the pieces of this sculpture are obscure.
And what leg is it that we have?
Left leg.
Basically, on the left side.
Yeah, there's been a sinister bend to things so far.
It does seem a lot of it is odd, but there's got to be connections.
So, I mean, we have to think about all the parties involved, just to make sure that we haven't. There was Smythe, who was looking into things.
Viscount Javert.
There was Janivert, who we believe is deceased because there are records that he was executed.
Viscount J-Dog. Oh, no, that's bad notes. Never mind.
Yeah, so he was executed, and the Sedefkar was broken apart and scattered.
Yeah.
One part was buried, was still on the property. It was underground. One was taken by a soldier into Venice.
Guillaume?
I don't know how the torso ended up in the opera house, but it's had been there for a long time for its effects on the lungs to be well noted as a curse.
Yeah.
And the Brotherhood of the Skin, the Faccia, was obsessed. Like, he knew it was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for it there. But he was killed by, I believe, the gargoyle thing. So there's the Brotherhood of the Skin involved. There's this gargoyle thing.
Yes.
That's unknown, but it's okay. If I recall, the prop master, I think, purchased the torso. I think there are records that he purchased it at an auction.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the gargoyle, there's the Brotherhood of the Skin, and there's the wizard in Lausanne. The Frenchman, the Jigsaw Prince, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, what was his proper name?
He was going by the name. He was Duke. He was referred to as the Duke. And he had agents with him who were stalling us.
Mm-hmm. That was Duke. But he was that wizard, right? And the guy that had the agents.
Yeah.
Yes, but he has agents. He's not by himself.
Mm-hmm.
There was the man who kept us busy while he murdered the brothers.
Also,
Seven Stars Club or whatever they were called.
Yes. The Imagine Diabolo also says that the Turkish name for the false monk is Canavar, which sounds a bit like Janavar.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they did not find him when he escaped with the simulacrum.
Yeah, so perhaps the simulacrum, I mean, he was a leper. That's predominantly a disease of the skin. So yes, perhaps his attainment of the Sedefkar allowed him to cure himself of his condition.
And stick around perhaps for a few hundred years more, causing further trouble.
Until he died in France, unless he never died in France.
Yeah, well, the problem, I mean, if he did not die in France, I mean, they attempted to put him to the death, yes? He was burnt at the stake, I believe.
Well, but
or
the records of who were killed at that time were...
Yeah. Well, at least he did not keep the simulacrum together after that point, or know where the parts went.
Mhm.
But that does not mean that he could not have a relationship to this Duke that we and our predecessors have met.
The Duke struck me as a collector of things. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But I mean,
remember,
at the same time, his twisted pocket nightmare world,
and he
Yeah.
had
where he
the
was the Jigsaw Prince, that was reminiscent of the deranged tortures in those catacombs we found under that house.
and he was able to choke me without touching me. I mean, he
Yeah.
definitely has.
He's an extremely powerful creature.
Mhm.
Did we get any additional leads on Suleiman the Red? Didn't the Frenchmen studied magic under Suleiman the Red?
That's right.
Roland, if I understand what you're saying correctly, then this monk's name, based on kind of variations on a Turkish name over time,
Yeah.
the monk is Jean-Aver, one and the same man. He lived
Yeah.
from the Fourth Crusade to the French Revolution, where he was killed and his
Or was not killed.
scattered, or was not killed. But if he's still alive,
He had his
then
torture chamber taken apart, and he was at least sent into hiding. But yes, the
Unless you
C
think-
in Canavar in Turkish should be pronounced with a J sound. So it means monster, apparently, in Turkish, or did then, something along those lines. So
perhaps after being burned, he became this gargoyle that is haunting us.
we are pursued by an unknown assailant. Yeah. Who is not, I think, the Duke. I wonder, though, if this dark monk figure who escaped with the simulacrum from the crusade, he anticipates where we are. So why does he not take the pieces himself? And what became of there was a group of knights founded also.
The Noble Shield? Knights of the Noble Shield?
Yes. Must we assume that we are the current incarnation of this, or might there be someone to assist us somewhere?
Wait. We're misremembering the French records. Jean-Avar was not executed.
He
They
just
took him to
vanished?
the Charenton Asylum.
Yes. And yes, we looked for information about him there, but it was inconclusive, yes?
Yes, yeah. Their records were quite bad.
So he's still alive, I would hazard to guess.
Perhaps in some difficult straits, however, without the ability to continue to use the simulacrum.
Yes, so perhaps he is this flying thing. Because yes, if the flying thing was the wizard would have just taken the pieces, taken the scrolls, I suppose. Same with the Brotherhood of the Skin, and the thing killed members of the Brotherhood of the Skin.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
Maybe, maybe he's needing someone to find them for him. And
well, I have this fear as well. Perhaps we are assembling this thing unwittingly to assist this persistently surviving evil creature.
have
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
this-
to make sure this is destroyed.
Yes.
We have this heart that we brought back from Land of Dreams.
Yes, the heart-shaped ruby
The lover's heart.
that destroys, like it fills one with the extreme hatred towards evil. Roland, is that correct? Is that how you would describe your experience holding it?
Yes, I think it was as though I was channeling some external power that had a violent effect on destructive energies or ill intent. Yeah.
It may help us deal with this flying pursuer at some point.
That would be a welcome. It would be welcome to have an effective enemy against these creatures, which seem so much more powerful than we.
It would.
And it may be, to go back to the Duke, he might not know about the simulacrum itself. Because he wanted the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there's no indication that he knew what was supposed to be on the scroll.
He is,
Just that
as you
it
say,
existed.
yeah, as you say, he is very much a collector of human flesh, perhaps human soul, to feed his dark dream city. But we have no reason to believe that he recognized the nature of the scroll. Just that it was magic and he wanted it for that sake, perhaps. Do we think the skinless ones have a leader that is
Yes,
an historical figure, or
It's
Well, I mean, the scroll.
Solomon the Red.
The
He was
scroll.
alive in 1893. That was only
Yeah, not that
that
long
was
ago.
just
oh
30 years
yes, he was
30 years ago. I'm sure he's
Yes.
still alive.
He has
An
gone
older
from-
man, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the scroll notes here, the scroll of the belly talks about worshiping the skinless one, and it calls it a being, not a man.
Yes. And Solomon the Led probably goes by a different name now, anyway. Most likely.
maybe he might not.
There is a knock on your cabin door.
Ordered coffee, or I'll get up and I'll go answer it.
It's one of the train people, train stewards. He says, "Gentlemen, we'll be arriving shortly in Trieste, and I've been told that the weather is quite cold. The wind is up, the bora is blowing, and I'd suggest you all wear heavy coats.
Thank you very much.
There also may be some delay on getting your luggage to the hotel. There are no horses, of course. It's far too cold. We're arranging for cabs to take you wherever you're going. Do you know which hotel you'll be staying in?"
We have not chosen.
Let us
No,
look at this handy dandy guidebook real fast.
Does
Yes.
Any of them have a heated swimming pool?
Not this time of year, sir.
The Turkish baths.
Only heated.
I would suggest either the Hotel Savoia d'Excelsior or the other one.
Let's
looking
go with that
at-
first.
I've never really been let down by a hotel.
It's a real
that
place.
had
It's a beautiful hotel.
Had an Excelsior in the name.
Yeah, in Trieste. There's the Savoia Excelsior Palace. There's the Hotel de la Ville, the Metropole, the Monsenencio, Central.
Yeah, but the Excelsior is on the seafront and overlooking the Gulf. I mean, I'm going to go through all this trouble. I'd like to be able to at least take in a view.
Oh yeah, Excelsior sounds perfect.
All right. I'll arrange for all of your stuff to be taken there. And we'll telegraph ahead to make sure that they're ready for you.
Should we arrange to have heavier clothes taken from our trunks before arrival?
If you don't have your heaviest stuff out, we can arrange for that quickly.
Thank you.
And there's a
Yes.
couple satchels I'd like to carry myself.
Very
We'll
good, sir.
make arrangements for that.
And
Nicely
he
so,
takes down
so
the
speak.
information, and then he's got like a clip where he takes that on and then moves ahead to the next. You hear him at the next cabin and the next cabin as he's going along.
Maybe the cold will make my aching joints feel better.
Yes, maybe, hopefully. I could do with a bit of reprieve from this annoyance.
How are your rashes? Or other aches and pains? Perhaps we should keep a journal even.
No better than they've been.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Irritating.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have
Dorian
some
went
good
completely. His
self-discipline.
head went completely sideways for a moment. That's
No time to take a nap, Dorian.
Part of the
I'm
rash.
sorry, I have an illness that turns me upside down briefly.
Should we how are we apportioning the pieces at this time?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'd like to keep one near me. I was unable to sleep, and I'm no good to you.
I wonder if the infection will move more slowly or more quickly if we rotate through them.
That might be a good idea because it might be like a mild addiction forming. It might be difficult to sleep the first night or two, but then you might start being...
Or the attachment will move, but perhaps Herr Bloch will not have both a rash on his chest and bad legs. Herr Bloch, I will take the responsibility from that leg for you, as you have already the limp on the other side. And we don't want anyone to be slowed down when another devil descends from the sky to attack us.
That is true.
Yeah.
So when we get to Excelsior, we will transfer that into my goods.
And I can do likewise for you, Dorian, as well, to give you a break from that building burden.
So I think at some point, the more we get, we should all at least take one piece each. If we find the final of a sixth piece, one of us will have to have the burden of carrying it.
It was my intention to take on the burden of the leg before we discovered that it was no longer in that reliquary.
Yeah, well, if you prefer, I have no objection. But certainly we must increase our pace as we go, because obviously the debilitation will increase. And I did not roll well, but it is also true that the things move by themselves at night, remember, or half on one occasion.
Yeah.
We do not have...
I passed my roll.
I got a regular.
But yeah, they move at night. They seem to want to be together, or at least either they move themselves or something moved them to be together. They also, I mean, they have dramatic effects on the environments and people around them. I mean, those thorns, those roses underground that were glowing, and the family's malady.
Yeah.
You had the costumer's curse, all those people dying of consumption. You had when they brought it into Venice, I mean, there's a documented that thing with the leg was plaguing a ton of people. So wherever these pieces move, there seems to be quite an influence in their wake that may help us find them.
Mm-hmm. I had forgot. I tried to block out how they seem to want to be together.
They seem to be porcelain, but I'm pretty sure they're damn well indestructible.
Yeah.
There was the knights described needing to find that glint of the sunlight to find where to actually chip it apart.
And that was only to divide, not to break
Right, that
them.
only popped the pieces out of place. It didn't actually damage them in any way.
From the very first.
They take on the guise of their bearer or of any person, really, because the man, the Sedefkar, when he had them all, could appear to be like anybody.
Yeah.
And that is how John of our bad monk escaped.
Yeah.
Right. You could take on the appearance of any other person.
Even from the very
Keeper, are the pieces, are they hollow or are they solid all the way through? Are they more like a...
They feel too light to be solid, but then you can't identify the material either. So
yeah, but there's no like gap, like, oh, I could put my arm
inside. They are solid, yeah.
And Gunter, if I recall correctly, when you hit that old man in the head with the leg, did your own leg feel an impact?
Oh yes, it was extremely painful for both of us. Yeah.
So it seems that whatever happens, like they have some kind of bond, that what happens to the
Yeah, right.
Perhaps either way. And also in the old description, as in some of our own experiences, they take on also the appearance of one's own flesh.
When we first encountered the very first piece in France, it had shifting patterns and changing visions on the limb, and it didn't necessarily look like someone's arm, but more or less unusual patterns and colors swirling about in it. I remember it looked different for both Dorian and myself when we first saw it.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
I'm frightened to think of what would happen to it if all the pieces came together.
Yeah. Now, do they look like, I mean, for lack of a bet, like Lego pieces, like they could snap together, or are they just smooth where the joints would be? Okay. Huh.
Yeah, the pieces that assembled themselves in the bed, they weren't even touching. They were just up near each other, as if in perhaps a magnetic equilibrium. There's an unknown force that connects them. I would not be surprised to find that they could articulate. You know, the arm could bend and yet seem seamless.
I wouldn't be surprised at anything by these things.
I mean, perhaps it is when they're all assembled together, they kind of fuse into one, the wearer.
Yeah. I do seem to recall with the shifting patterns and such that it did end up mimicking my arm. So maybe it just took a moment to adjust. I felt no pain from it, though, but then it had no heavy impact at the time.
As the heart jewel, the size of the heart jewel, would it be equivalent of what the size of a heart would be inside the torso?
No, it is something that fits in the hand.
Okay. I'm not really...
And is not shaped like a pumping heart. I wondered
it's more like about...
if it should fit in the torso of the thing, but I believe they are unrelated phenomena. Although that does not mean that one might not have an effect on the other.
Exactly.
And so before I forget, back on the scrolls that we need in order to learn how to destroy this thing. The poor Wellington brothers. They purchased it. They purchased their scroll or the one brother did, and during the war.
Yes.
I wonder what I'm trying to remember what country the man was we bought it from.
Oh, but Dorian, you did feel pain though when we first early on with that arm, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so it is some sort of transference. It might have something to do with you touching it first.
I have felt odd at most, at quite a few instances that I've obviously stumbled over myself. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is odd.
If we can't find these scrolls, we will be in a pickle. This here has to be destroyed. Well, the only thing I could think beyond this is, I don't know, reading stories of Shackleton's expedition in Antarctica. Maybe we could bring them to some deep crevasse and toss them into the bowels of the earth.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Things of such malignity, I feel, have a way of making themselves discovered again.
Yeah.
We have to be rid of these things forever.
We do. But
agreed.
We definitely need to research more into the scrolls. It is a better way. We have certain clues that we can draw off of, but we definitely need to find everything before people who will use it for bad will find it.
Yeah, and in fact, we cannot even believe that we ourselves could not use it for evil if we assembled it but could not destroy it. One of us would be consumed, at least.
Which is why we try to keep it as separate as possible.
Yeah. And
if
I think
my pain is bad, Gunther's is bad. Imagine whoever holds the head. That must hurt. Like a splitting headache, complete mind splitting.
Well, and it might suggest that the only cure is to fit the pieces together and
exactly
become.
So it doesn't take on its own life. If that's done, and then who knows what would happen.
There's the mosque.
Mm-hmm. The mosque in
Constantinople.
Yeah.
Or Istanbul.
Not Constant.
Theodore, what were you saying?
No, I was just fearing, like, if all these pieces put together, it might take on its own life, so to speak. I mean, we've all seen outlandish things that ordinarily one would think would be a Jules Verne tale, but at this point, I'm.
No, is there anything else?
I mean, obviously, we have no way of knowing how to destroy it now. I think that secret will come if we can find these scrolls or get to Istanbul with the parts. But
is paramount. We are deficient several scrolls.
Yes. There's got to be more that we can connect. But I will just say I could potentially fall asleep any moment now if I do continue speaking about the events.
Fortunately, the Excelsior's great hotel is nearby now.
Yes.
Theo, I think I don't know if moving the simulacra pieces between us is going to do us any good. Because you've touched the arm, haven't you?
Yeah, I did, but I felt
you
no pain.
You don't have these crippling pains. It's only Dorian who does.
Yeah.
You've both touched it, and yet it lingers with Dorian.
Yeah, perhaps the one who he did first touch it, and then I did.
Potentially, maybe it forms a connection with the origin of touch.
But it would make sense that it would have to pass over time. Otherwise, I mean, someone must have touched it before you. So, I mean, it passed on.
True. But
they could just be dead.
But obviously, we are in its vicinity quite a lot. But if you just look at the torso, the effects it had on the theater, just it being there on everyone. So maybe there are minor effects each of them cause that you guys may get later down the line, the more you exposed you are to its vicinity.
A good point.
To all of them. We do not know the extent of the power.
Yeah, I just don't want to see the two of you, Gunther and Dorian, getting overwhelmed by this.
I think we just got to keep pushing on. We got to. Mm-hmm. We've made progress in the few days we have been on this journey, and I am sure together we can reach a conclusion of some sort.
I admire or envy your certainty, Dabrowski.
I got to have a little bit of optimism.
Looking out the windows of the train, you can see some lights coming in the distance, but it is very obvious that it's almost blizzard conditions outside. You can see the snow. Eventually, one of the Pullman comes and brings you your heavy coats from your luggage.
Merci.
Grazie.
And if our viewers haven't figured it out, Josh's power is out, so he's on his phone. I think that we can call it there, and we will pick up with you arriving in Trieste in the next episode, since you're going to run out of juice. Okay?
Yeah.
Any last words before we finish?
On to Trieste.
All right. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, David Gasaway, Stuart Lively, Keith Craig, and Josh Harwood, with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.